Part 3 on why TikTok's evil. And it is. It's so abhorrent. And the real reason that it is, okay? I'm going to let you in on a little secret after 3 parts. I think a total of half an hour of raving about this. I think I'm finally going to let you in on the true evil of it. Have you ever heard anybody say this about why TikTok's bad before? It takes away your attention. Oh no! Well, see, that's the whole thing, right? Like, I've already been talking for 30 seconds. And that is now, speaking of the devil, and that's how time works. Yeah, so that's what? I don't know, I'm really bad at maths. I'm going to get this wrong. 5 TikToks? Don't they go for 6 seconds or some shit? Oh, no, wait, they go for 15. Look, in the time that I was trying to figure out how long a TikTok goes for, there would have been 2 TikToks there. That would have been much more entertaining than watching a man look at a counter and trying to do a maths equation. God, that's pathetic. Like the video, by the way, because you're just not going to find quality content like this anywhere else on the net. The reason that TikTok is bad is because, and I think that this is the way that you need to think about it, right? With all of these social media platforms, including the one that I'm very hypocritically on at the moment, hashtag own it, hashtag put that up on TikTok, is that merchants, they're called attention merchants, right? Just think about that. There are people in life whose job it is to waste your time. To waste your time as effectively as possible and to stop you from using your time valuably. And that is quite possibly worth more than oil. Data is worth way more than oil these days. That's why all the billionaires are there. They're not billionaires for no reason. It's all a conspiracy, man. And it actually is. It's always the thing that you need to remember is that Steve Jobs refused to let his kids have an iPhone. And then he died. So it shows what he knows. But I'm sure he knew something about the iPhone, seeing as he invented it all by himself, by the way, because he was that much of a genius. And well, he wore sneakers, okay? Would you do that if you're a billionaire? No, because you're part of the system, unlike people who buy Macs. The thing is that TikTok, next generation of that, designed to keep you in a box, keep you away from your attention, apart from all of the things that we've discussed before, like the fact that there's such a thing as TikTok tics now, and TikTok brain, which just completely shrinks your ability to comprehend anything, and the TikTok tic just like gives you a form of Tourette's from looking at your phone, going too fast, and giving you seizures like little Pokemon movies used to do back in the day. But now, it's just everybody on Earth is looking at these Pokemon movies, and they've gotten so effective at attacking the nervous system and paralyzing it that it starts doing all of these weird, jolty shit things because of how good attention merchants are getting at attacking your brain and keeping it paralyzed like it's a Venus fly. They're just human Venus flytraps, and you're the fly. All of you, except me, because I broke the system. And you know why I broke the system? Because of this fine baby right here. We're going to get back to that in a second, but I really just highly recommend it. You want success in life, you get one of these. You, more than anything else, in the age of attention robbery, need to hold your own attention. That is your biggest hurdle in life these days, which is both pathetic and sad at the same time. Well, they're closely linked anyway, so I suppose it doesn't make that much of a sense. A lot of things are. I'm just going to move past that and the maths equation thing and just stay on message, all right? The reason, let me just take this out for a second. The reason that you're on TikTok all the time, let's be honest, 2 things. Anxiety of this idea that you're missing out on watching a bunch of chicks that wish that they were in the 70s. They're just dressing the same way that they did back then. But they're like, turtleneck shirts, and oh, nobody's ever had that hair that goes down like that before. Yes, you fucking have. It's all cyclical. You're all lemmings! Lemmings with wonderful hair, I've got to say. Well done, it's good style. And they do that on this platform. You're constantly watching it. You're constantly getting more and more anxious. What does anxiety do? All of these emotions are by design, by the way. The fact that you are anxious while you are watching TikTok forces you to watch TikTok even though you're not enjoying it. So just think about that headspin for a second. The first one being that the more that you are on it, the less you enjoy it, and the less you enjoy it, the more you want to stay on it. What a hell! It's a self-imposed hell. That's the first part that's so evil about this. But the second thing is, It's exactly the same as meth. I remember once somebody describing meth to me as it creates an itch that feels good to scratch, but it created that itch in the first place. That itch didn't exist before they were meth heads. That's what TikTok does. You think in your mind, I'm bored, I'm going to go on TikTok. That's your thing. In fact, it's gone even much faster than that because everything is just in microsecond. It's like attention now is like microsecond trading like it is on the stock market. Because it's so quick, you don't even give yourself the opportunity to be bored anymore. So you forgot what being bored feels like. And I've always been saying on this channel that the art of boredom is lost. And it's a very important part of being a human being, but you need your brain to be able to wander. The brain needs to move in and out of two things, kind of this executive control, like, yeah, where's that report by Monday? It needs that part of the brain, and then it also needs a part of the brain that is just the adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, just two boys sitting there with their long straw hat, eating a piece of straw on the old mine in Mississippi. That's the other thing that it needs. And you are robbing it of that part of the, first off, creative process. If you want to be creative, there is no way that you can be a creative if you are doing that. But the second part is problem solving. Your brain, your subconscious, the reason that you dream less, I honestly think, is linked to all of this technology in your life. If you take all of this out, you will notice. Have you noticed this, that when you go camping or you go on holidays and you're just not checking your phone as much because you're out in the wilderness, have you noticed that you dream more? Isn't that a bit fucked? I mean, take away the fact that it gives you Tourette's. Let's just forget that for a second. The fact that you are dreaming less, that has got to be bad for you because dreaming is problem solving. Sorry, so we'll go back to that idea of the, it's just dream on that. You can't, can you? The attention grabbing thing that we were just discussing, the fact that it grabs, you think before you look at something that you're bored, before you're even bored, I'm just trying to, Jesus, like I've got TikTok brain now. 3 fuck-ups in this video. You forget that you're bored because you take it out before you're even bored. You are preemptively predicting that you're going to be bored, which is something that is necessary anyway. Well, here's the big head spin. There is now a study of close to 300 people, I think. I was about to say well over 300. Close to 300 people where they were giving them a survey. So this is a sizable study. 6 experiments, came back the same result every time. People greatly underestimate how much they like sitting around with their own thoughts. You're doing it because you have this anxiety in you of, I'm missing out. I feel bad because people are saying things that I do are cringy and I'm just going to sit there and say they're cringe as well. All these fucked behaviors that is teaching you. Just teaching you to just be a nervous ball of wreck, right? Just one of those dogs that's been beaten your entire life. It's like that without getting beaten, which is even lamer because it's like, well, at least he had some life experience when he got smacked in the face with a shovel. You got nothing. You just got that feeling injected into you by some just like sneaky little Chinaman looking at it being like, yes, dance, right? Like that's all that happened. And so you are doing that, watching this TikTok shit. That's happening to your brain. This is honestly why when I look at it all the time, I just see, because my world is politics, and every time you look at the political views of anyone on TikTok, it's so dumb. It's like what I say in politics. There's a point where somebody says something so stupid that you find it really difficult to conjugate a response to it because it's just like, you may as well be talking to that beaten dog at that point. And you are, on an emotional level. But anyway, people enjoyed just sitting around with their thoughts far more than they enjoyed spending time on their phone just flipping through useless crap. Way more. I think you know this. I think you have a time in your life, a reference experience where, isn't this sad that we have to go into this dystopic universe where we go, remember a time when people used to have games with one another and play hopscotch on the street and have memories and fish and dance and sing into the night? That was better, wasn't it? Remember, if you're a little bit older, being a kid and then just going around on a razor scooter and scraping your knee, how much better was scraping your knee, breaking your foot? Way better memory than anything that you have on TikTok. The most entertaining thing on TikTok is always going to be worse because it's passive. You didn't experience it. You don't have a memory in your mind. Even the worst memories are going to be better than nothing. And you know what else as well? Sitting on your ass and doing nothing but thinking is going to be more enjoyable because your brain, especially if you've just been hooked onto this, is going to like having this actual time that is completely forgotten about of, oh, I have time to examine my life, to examine what's going on in my head instead of just all of these things getting bombarded into me to the point that I can't even retain the information. Again, another thing that comes out in studies when you look at TikTok, no, you cannot retain any of this like learning, educational stuff that you're getting. You just get this general vibe of whatever the thing is. So you're not actually getting any specifics in it anyway. But on top of that, on top of all of that, the fact that you have time to swill around with your own thoughts, key to problem solving. While you're doing that and everybody else is on their phone, when you go onto the bus, look at it. Because let's think about it, right? It's just a carriage of losers. Because if you didn't, you'd be in a car, am I right? I mean, look, there's going to be the occasional environmentally conscious person that takes the bus every day, or it might be like a little bit more convenient because of work. But even if they are, the fact that they are on their phone is guaranteeing failure in life. They're never going to get that Tesla that they are looking at that somebody test driving on the way to their house. It's just not going to happen because they do not have time to examine themselves. And this is the other thing. Even if those thoughts are bad, sometimes you just got to face your demons. And honestly, at the end, have you ever had this? Have you ever had something where you just swill around with your own problems? You don't talk about it for days, even if you're not writing it down, which I give you all of these tools on this channel, by the way, which is why you should subscribe, about how to problem solve quicker. So you can just get those things out. One of the main ones, obviously, is just writing it down. But even if you don't write it down, even if you don't talk to anybody about it, a lot of the time, you just swill around with a problem in your mind, and then all of a sudden, at an uncommon hour, while you're just staring out at the ocean, usually with an 80s track playing in the back of your mind, not actually playing in the back of your mind from your fucking smartphone, but that happens, and then all of a sudden, ding, eureka moment, you've solved the problem. You've had that experience before, right? That doesn't happen. Your life goes into stasis. I was talking about this with Neil on the Neil and Jordan podcast. God, I'm selling a lot of things on this one, but we were talking about it, and we were saying that now this is a big problem with, I think, this generation of man children, which I'm definitely a part of. I mean, look at this. It's a poor man's little naval bow tie. Man, doesn't it look sporting? But he was looking at it, and we came to the same conclusion that it kind of just feels like with all of this new technology being bombarded into you that you don't ever develop in terms of the stages of life. You just stay in this permanent stasis, and you do look a lot younger because you're never actually dealing with the outside world. That's true. But another problem with it is that if you're in stasis, progressing are you? That should freak you out more than anything else. That is a true hell. Reliving the same year of your life for the rest of your life. Never doing anything of worth. Never experiencing anything. Just looking at a bunch of other people that aren't experiencing anything either. When they're doing all of their phone stuff, it's all just heightened to make it just like, wow, this is really exciting. 6 seconds. Subscribe. We all know the game. They're not actually having fun themselves. It's the same thing with all of the Instagram stars, right? They're miserable. They're miserable human beings in their mansions. Because it's just like you're a slave to it. Just goes, oh no, I got the likes. Oh no, I got the likes. So get rid of it. Get rid of it because the science shows that if you get off your phone and you just sit with your thoughts for 20 minutes, you are going to enjoy it more than you are going to enjoy 20 minutes of TikTok. Fact. Terrible for you anyway. It's just like this whole thing in life. It's like your body knows what it should be eating. If you start getting in tune with your body, this is why I'm always saying to people, look, even if you don't want to become a vegan, right? And I get it, especially with how preachy vegans are. Even if you don't, I do recommend that you just eat less meat. And the reason that I do is just purely for selfish reasons, which is that if you kind of just strip yourself back to just eating a lot of vegetables, just the absolute basics. After that, I think your body recognizes when it does need meat, when it needs that nice little beef injection, or instead of just endlessly, excessively consuming things. I think this is the same thing that is happening here. You know intuitively what is good for you because you actually feel good when it happens. But kind of like with sugar, this is the same thing with TikTok. That's what's happening to your brain, just like sugar's rotting your teeth. It's rotting your mind! And that's so much worse, isn't it? At the end of the day, way worse. So, next thing, and this is how fucked everything is because it's kind of like with heroin, and then you got to give them methadone so that they just remove out of it. I honestly do think, end goal in life, make sure that you get a dumb phone. I don't even know what this was. Somebody asked if I could do a dumb phone review. I can't. My one is from Optus. Didn't even know that was a brand. Just whatever's a big W that looks like this, the construction workers and drug dealers get. You just ask for that. You ask, excuse me, sir, I'm in the mood for, instead of ingesting heroin, selling the heroin, which is what happens. But can you please direct me to that? Just get your burner phone, yeah? But anyway, that's eventually what happens. But the other study shows that 3 groups. First group asked to stay off their phone and just leave it there next to them, and then spend 20 minutes with their thoughts, drawing, whatever they wanted to do. Just couldn't be on their phone. The other one, they took the phone out of the room. And then the last one, they just got them to spend time on their phone. It showed that the people that were able to concentrate the longest, that were able to daydream the longest, 2 things that you definitely need to do in life: daydream, focus. It was the ones that had the phones next to them. Terrible to admit, but it's true. The problem with it, though, is obviously they were able to turn off all the notifications, so it wasn't just endlessly buzzing in front of them like somebody walking into Michael Jackson's room and it had all those secret bells going on. Like that sitting next to them, because it got rid of all of this anxiety. You get the same separation anxiety as those dogs that you pick up from the pound. They're like, when you, it's so lame. It's so lame. Beaten dogs. That's what we are. Jesus, the Chinese are cruel to dogs. And now they're seeing us as them. And so that's what you got to remember, right? That just having it next to you is, unfortunately, the best thing that you can do for now. So what I need you to do is, as I'm always saying at the end of these, make sure that you download the app Self-Control. You're going to have to get rid of the time-wasting devices on your phone. A lot of people always say, yeah, I just have it for Google Maps and stuff. Just don't lie to yourself. You go look at it. There's, out of the 100 people that are going to write that comment, maybe one of you actually do and have it for long term. The rest of you, eventually, these little apps are going to go in like the viruses, because, I'm sorry, you're just not special. It's like how people always overestimate how good they are with women and fighting. It's like, you're just not in the top 1%. You think you are, but you're not. That's why I think that you just need to just give in, get yourself the dumb phone. That's the end goal here. Highly recommend it. And then just keeping it there, it doesn't really matter, because all that happens with this, and this is what happens with mine. Like, I leave mine out of the room all the time and I feel way better for it. And it's because it's just, this is not entertaining. This is entertaining instead. That's what happens. You get a richer inner life. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, if you liked that, and I think that you would, you should sign up to Jordan Shanks, because I have endless psychological tips of how to get yourself off of your bad habits, how to identify your bad habits, how to replace those habits with good, winning habits. It's all there. It's all there. So much is there. Anything that you need in life, any problem that you have, it's going to be up on Jordan Shanks. It costs the price of a coffee. I use it all the time, and I'm just saying that it's like people always just shout their friends a coffee. Yeah, I really like this example. Can you just bear with me for this one? People shout their friends a coffee. I'm a better friend. I know more than they do. I'm sorry, I do. Your friend is on TikTok, okay? It's not hard. So shout me the goddamn coffee, and I'll see you around.